4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome. Another great episode of Harm's Way Podcast. I am your host, Craig. Across from me, my brother, who looks like he's going to drama class. Eric, how's it going?
It's going great. Stayed up way too late last night watching YouTube shorts.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Learning? Or just for shits and giggles?
For shits and giggles, mostly.
You went down the rabbit hole.
There were some cool gun videos and stuff I seen. Guy shooting acetylene tanks with a 50 BMG out in the desert. That was pretty fun to watch. Yeah.
I see that shit on TikTok. Like I get lost. Like a 15-minute dump turns into like an hour and a half because of TikTok.
Well, I got the episode.
Toes.
YouTube was giving me a little bit of shit last night, and it took a while to get the episode uploaded, so it was like 11:30 or something by the time it went up. Sorry about that.
Was it YouTube or was it your ancient ass fucking graphics card?
I think it's YouTube because I never had an issue with it before.
I can only say that because I have a
really,
graphics card now.
Really, the upload process only takes like 20 minutes or so. But yeah, it was giving me shit last night, so I got the episode out kind of late. And then after that, it was I just kind of went down a rabbit hole. The next thing I knew, it was 6 a.m.
That's what those do to you.
But
because it's a volume of videos that a small percentage of them can be good, right?
Yeah.
Not every video you watched was good, right?
A lot of no.
And they throw it at you.
Not every single one. A lot of what I was watching was kind of like philosophically based stuff, and a lot of Jordan Peterson clips. Him talking about things. A lot of people shit on him, but I think he's great. And there's this one channel I gotta show you where this black guy was talking to this woman. She like called into a show or whatever. It was real funny because he's like, "So why'd you leave him?" She's like, "Domestic violence." He goes, "Oh, so how often did you beat his ass?"
Oh my god!
And no, he makes a very good point. Like the purpose of the video was he was calling her out for picking shitty men and shit like that. But it was fucking funny to watch. I'll have to show you that channel later. Yeah.
On the subject of that, real quick, we don't have to dabble because this is
we can dabble.
One of my guilty pleasure shows that my wife gets me into. We watched the new season of that Love Is Blind, and
oh really?
Yeah. And I the same thing happened. So this is the third season. I think
that's the one where they force people together they've never met or something like that.
Yeah, they put them in these pods. Excuse me. And again, a lot of people are gonna make fun of me for watching this, but I don't really.
You watch a lot of goofy girly shit.
I do. Well, it's because I have a very broad palette for shows and movies. You know this. But they force them in the pod. They don't force them. People. It's not. Auschwitz. They let them in to an experiment, basically. I don't know, maybe it kind of is. No. But and they have to go on dates all day, every day, or something, and stay in the pods and live there for I don't know how long, an undetermined amount of time. It's determined, but and they have to meet in these little pod room things where there's like a thin wall in between them, but they can't see. They can see like a silhouette maybe if they like stood up next to it. But mostly there's like a couch and like pillows, a pretty comfy kind of room, almost like a dorm room common area kind of. And they just talk and they basically date without seeing each other. So like you don't know if what race or ethnicity anybody is, height, weight, how their build.
Sounds risky.
It's very risky. You don't know if you're talking to a troll or like if the guy looks like a pedo. Cause some people have that natural pedo look.
Oh, yeah.
You didn't know that?
Yeah, I guess.
I see people all the time, and I'm like, again, trying not to judge, but you can tell somebody, and you can be like, they look like kind of like a fucking pedo, but you could change that. They could easily change that. Yeah, like kind of like that with his tube socks and jean shorts. Like, nobody fucking does that anymore, but he still wears that shit.
You just described Dad.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Kind of close to the pedo thing. I'm sorry, Dad. I forgot we were recording. Our dad's not a pedo, but he
He's just a boomer.
So yeah, okay, that's a good
Wears
example.
jean shorts and
Boomer apparel is pedo adjacent. It is. And I'm not saying there's not these new school pedos out there wearing, Ed Hardy jeans and, Affliction shirts, because they could be. I don't even know if that's still a thing. That tells you how old I am. But, you know what I mean. Like, you see people wearing a fucking weird, the English hat. You just kind of get a pedo vibe from them. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so yeah, I wasted an entire 2.5 weeks on this fucking show, and every time we finish the season, I feel the same way. Like, oh, there's time that I can't fucking get back, but I wish I could. Because all you're doing is you're getting introduced to 3 to 4 of the world's worst people. Period.
That's like every reality show ever, man.
And it's toxic. I know it's a perfect example of toxic people. So what it is there was this one chick in particular where you like her through the whole season. You feel bad for her. She wants love. She's ready for marriage. Blah blah blah. And then she ends up, the dude and her, and the dude's like this quirky, goofy, like, oh, he's funny. You really pull him from like an underdog, like a retarded underdog. You're like, I really want him to, find happiness and shit, right? And they end up choosing each other, and you're like, wow, this is beautiful. This is such a great story, as they ride off into the sunset. Nah, Armageddon, fucking from the beginning. They meet each other, they're like, oh, both really hot, oh yeah, cool, and they have a physical relationship. And then him being a young, dumb idiot, says some things that don't sit right with her about how he was like, and all he was doing
just
was
like
being honest.
Awkward tension and shit.
It was, but all he was doing was being honest, because they put him, they sent him on like a honeymoon kind of deal after they propose. So you propose in the pods, and that they just pick like the most entertaining 5 or 6 couples or whatever, and then they just continue on with the experiment. And the rest of the dumpers just fuck off back into existence, like, and so they take them and they basically bring them on vacation together, and they end up like fucking like rabbits and all kinds of shit. And you start seeing the real people pretty quick. And when you put them all together, they all actually see each other. So if you had multiple connections with multiple women, multiple men in the pods, you actually get to see them. So you get like, there's a shock value, right? There's a fair amount of, whoa, that's also one of the people that I wanted to pick. They're kind of hot too. And that was his reaction, was, hey, she is the type of woman that I would go for in the real, I hate when they call it the real world, because it's fucking marriage. So the whole thing is designed around a wedding, because in 6 weeks they have to get married or do some really stupid fucking built up suspenseful walk away that just wastes 15 minutes of my fucking life. And so they're on this vacation, and he says, yeah, she's the type of person that I would go for if, pre-dating. But, it's got me to the point where I've had nothing but bad relationships in my life, and I want to move on, and I fell in love with you in the pods. And this chick wasn't having anything of it. She was like, oh, she just kept bringing it up. You could tell she was just like a neurotic fucking weirdo with insecurities, because she didn't look like this other tall blonde chick, but she was still pretty in her own. I thought she was pretty leading up to the last couple episodes, and then she might be pretty on the outside, but this is a stone cold toxic Black Widow bitch on the inside. She is fucking horrible, like easily one of the worst people I've ever seen on TV.
Wow, that's a pretty tall order.
That is. I've watched a lot of TV. And it's weird because I find myself saying that after each season. So season 1 was this chick named Jessica, and she set the bar so fucking high for being a shitty person that season 2 woman easily met that. Shayna, I think her name was, which, yeah, fucking great. And what's weird is if you stack this Jessica and Shayna chick next to each other, they're like the same woman, 10 years apart. Jessica looks old and busted, but I mean, I take it back. She's okay looking.
Do you remember all? You remember all the bastard shows that spun off of The Bachelor and The Bachelorette? That like the one with Bret Michaels, the one with Flavor Flav.
Heart of Love, Flavor of Love, Heart something. Bret Michaels is a fucking shit show. Bret Michaels is he's up there too.
You remember all those? You remember all the shitty people on those shows?
Rock of Love. Rock of Love.
You remember all the shitty people on there? But I think the bar is set pretty high.
But Bret Michaels was having orgies with those women with his bodyguard. Because I believe...
Is that true?
I've read about it multiple times. Dude, you're talking about, what, 2009, 2008?
Yeah.
But yeah, I read that a lot of shit came out because I think one of his bodyguards knocked up one of the women.
Yeah.
I could be wrong on that. Well, but that show was such a fucking shit show that Bret Michaels was already getting... What band was he in? Poison?
Yeah.
Poison.
I almost said Guns N' Roses.
I always go to Guns N' Roses, but I'm pretty sure it's Poison. So Poison. That dude already gets ass. Like, still.
Well, I thought it was funny because, like, when he was first... One thing I remember from the show, when he was first meeting the women or whatever, one of them was a porn star.
Yes.
Like a B-list or C-list porn star.
Yes.
Or whatever.
I've never seen any of her movies.
And it was, I just thought it was fucking hilarious because he was like, yeah, I thought you looked familiar. I've seen your movies. Get out.
Yeah.
And I was like, really? Rock star rejects a porn star.
He's already banged her. I guarantee you. I guarantee you.
I just thought it was kind of like, really?
Yeah.
I don't know.
So anyway, back to this. Just a couple more things, I'll be done with it. This chick, they go through this whole process, and she's obviously abusing the shit out of this guy. And this guy is like, you know what? I love you, blah, blah, because he's almost like a sad little puppy. She is verbally, emotionally, I already said emotionally. That's how fucked up she got him. Just abusing the shit out of him, right? She is the definition of toxic women. Well, it gets to the end, and she's hyped. You can tell this thing. First of all, I still think the show's 100% staged. I think it's bullshit. Again,
it's reality TV.
I fucking waste so much time on it, and I say the same thing. I'm like, I'm not watching the next season. I'm not watching the next season. And then that little red banner across the shit, the thumbnail on Netflix pops up with new episodes, and I'm like, it's like I have Alzheimer's. I'm like, oh yeah, let's watch it, babe. Never
Irresponsible consumerism.
Never again. So
if you don't watch it, they won't make it.
She gets all the way to the altar, all the way, and she had told this guy in multiple episodes, hey, if we don't want to do this, if we know that we're not going to choose each other, we tell each other before we get to the altar, and we end this right then and there. And he was like,
why would she do that? She could always divorce, rape him later.
Well, I don't know. I'm surprised she didn't. But she
didn't
divorce him because she didn't marry him.
Oh, okay.
Spoiler alert.
I mean, I figured that was going to happen.
Finish my fucking story.
When you said she got all the way to the altar, I was like, I don't know where this goes.
God doesn't like surprises, does he? So
nothing surprises me anymore.
I forgot what I was at. So they had made this pact, and he was like, yeah, whatever, yeah, because he was so deeply in love with her. And they get up there, and they did this goofy little prayer before the pastor started talking or whatever. And then it gets to her time to choose, and she says no, and then she gives a speech just absolutely castrating the guy on televised ceremony, knowing the repercussions and fallout that'll happen on social media. Then people on her side clapped like it was scripted. Easily it was the shittiest thing I've ever seen anybody do. And he goes, and he's in shambles. He's broken. She says that he's ruined her self-esteem and her self-worth, and just completely destroyed her as a person, and literally shits on in front of everyone. Turns around and walks away. And then his side all came up and hugged him and stuff, and he's crying, and I'm like, and then her mom actually came back out and hugged him and apologized for what she did to him. Now, do you think that someone who claims to be abused for this entire 6 or 7 weeks of relationship or whatever, their mom's gonna come out and hug the abuser? And then they went on the reality show, and she tried roasting him again, and he straight up called her out. He said, what you're saying happened never happened. and you feel bad for the guy. You literally feel for him because he's trying to like convey his love for her, but he's like, you're making this up. And she's got all her girlfriends next to her, the other girls that were in the experiment, and they're like, no, fuck you, dude. Fuck, you're shit. And the one chick said she hated him. She said she hated him. And then she retracts and he says, I don't know why you hate me. And she says, I don't hate you. So right there, her dumbass looked like a piece of shit liar right then and there, too. And she was one of the ones that actually got married to a big bird looking motherfucker. But, and then she brought up a clip, an extra, cutout, whatever, extra scene, where she said that he told her not to eat because she was getting fat. And he was withholding food from her. She claimed he was withholding food from her and degrading her and telling her that she was fat and that she didn't need to eat. So at the end of the show, they ran the fucking clip, Eric. 100% she lied. 100%. Proven to America that she's a liar, a toxic piece of shit, just like the rest of the women on that season. Fucking, the world doesn't need you. And all of the women have their social media comments turned off, so nobody can say shit.
So, is it staged or not?
I think it's staged, but I think it's staged to a degree. I still think each and every woman on this episode, this last season, is toxic. I think
Yeah, but
if
it's staged and scripted or whatever, how can you say that?
I don't, because who would do that? Toxic people would do that.
We've talked a lot about toxicity.
Yes.
You think maybe you might be like addicted to consuming toxic media?
Oh, 100%. Who isn't? I live off of other people's drama.
Jesus, Craig.
What's wrong with that?
What do you mean what's wrong with that? You talk about like cutting out toxic influence in your life and then you're sitting there watching that shit. That's
toxic influence that can affect me, Eric. There's a huge difference. You think their toxic shit can affect me?
Oh my God.
It can't. Not unless all of a sudden I flipped and started treating my spouse like that.
Makes me think like is
what?
Is it okay to use other people's drama as entertainment and shit?
100%. That's literally what this country is built off of.
Yeah, you think that's a problem?
For those people, yeah. What do you want me to say here? You want me to stop watching reality TV because it's somebody else's life?
It's shit.
It's very much shit.
Why watch it? Why you waste your time watching it?
Because
we watch a lot of good movies and stuff like that. Yeah, it's like,
what's the alternative? You want me to fucking clean my gutters?
Find a good movie to watch?
No. And I do that. I do that with you.
Read a book?
Oh, God. Here we go again. Read a book. All right, Mom. I'll read a book when I fucking need to read a book.
This is what I deal with.
Oh.
This is what I've dealt with.
Oh, you're like so fucking hard with me in it.
No, you just, like, man, you're just an excuse factory.
Yeah. Excuse for being awesome. What's your excuse?
For what?
I don't know. Fuck you. Oh, stop, Eric. Get your penis out.
What?
Put your penis away. That's what I meant.
You said that the other day.
I was going to do it.
Fuck you, Eric. What if I told you to just put your penis on the table?
Eric, stop. Get your penis off the table, you fucking weirdo.
No, you said,
oh my God.
I'm going to tell you to put your penis on the table just to embarrass you.
Did I say that in the text?
You don't fucking know who I am. Oh yeah, because I was getting pissed at you because you're picking your fucking nose.
I picked my nose once, and this guy fucking tries to crucify me and embarrass me. Well, funny thing, I don't get embarrassed.
You should be embarrassed for yourself.
You should be embarrassed at your jawline.
Fucking Neanderthal. What jawline?
Exactly. You go straight from nose to throat, you ugly-looking bitch.
That's why I'm wearing the turtleneck.
You have a great jawline. I can't
my
even
imperfections.
Excuse factory. Fuck you and the dick you wrote in on. But, no, your jawline is pretty strong. The turtleneck throws me a little bit because I feel like you're going to do, like, sketch comedy or something gay party.
Yeah, I don't know. I like it. Kind of like it. Fabric's really nice and soft. It's warm. It's warm.
Are you cold in my basement?
No.
Me either.
It wasn't really cold when I walked outside either. I could tell it felt colder. It's weird. It says it's 40 degrees, and I don't know if it's got something to do with humidity or whatnot, but
lack of humidity. What's snowing?
I could tell it was colder. Could tell it was colder outside.
Because your nips got hard.
Weird. I didn't feel colder though because I got this awesome turtleneck on. But anyway, this whole conversation though goes is a good segue into
this whole conversation.
Swingers.
This was a this was a fucking spiral out of control. I apologize for nothing, and fuck you. No, it was good. It got away from us. I am sorry, but
they were talking about
excuse factory. I'm gonna kick you in the cunt. Yeah, go ahead.
They were talking about swingers on the radio the other day. It got me thinking. I was like, that would be a good topic to talk about. And I feel like when I listen to swingers try to justify how it's so great or why it's so great, I feel like I'm dealing with a bunch of flat earthers.
That's a great analogy. I like that. First off, how many swingers have you met? Like 100% admitted to your face that they're swingers.
2.
Really?
Yeah.
I've never met any. Well, okay, so here's the thing. You and I both know one that won't admit. We only know of it through the grapevine.
There's another one you used to work with.
Yeah.
They didn't really swing. They had an open thing. That's different.
Okay, I did mean yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
is it weird? You think it's weird?
It's a to each their own. I mean, I don't.
I think it's okay. Number one, I think it's
married me has a different opinion, but yeah.
Well, I'm unmarried, and
You think it's weird?
Yeah, I think it's.
I think it's weird regardless. Yes.
I think it's weird. I think I think there's a level of insecurity there, and I think it has to do with people who, one, might be sex addicts. 2, they prioritize sex number 1 in the relationship. Why else would you fucking do that?
So you think
they're
they're projecting when they're telling you how great it is?
No, I wouldn't say
the only
projecting.
thing
I think people who engage in that just prioritize sex overall. Because like I view it as like you know you're married or you have your partner, whatever. I think you can have a lifelong partner and not be married.
In 2022, yeah.
And I think that because marriage has become kind of a fucked up institution that the government's royally screwed.
As you're talking to your older married brother, but yeah, go ahead.
I believe in.
No, I'm not. You're not hurting my feelings, Eric. I was just saying that.
I believe in marriage for some reasons. I don't believe in it for other reasons that are related to government regulation,
lack of moral,
no fault divorce, shit like that.
Yeah, the important stuff.
But where was I going with that? Sorry, I had a Biden moment.
Well, you made America great again. Oh, not Biden. My bad. Sorry. Whoa. My political knowledge is like my knowledge of brain surgery.
Whoa.
Exactly.
So yeah, I think you have your spouse. You know, that's one of the most like intimate things you can do. Like that should be reserved for just you two. You know, not for anybody else.
Not
so
your pimp.
I think that's why people do it. Is because they just they prioritize that part of the relationship.
Well,
I think it's the same reason why people fucking cheat so goddamn much.
Well, there's other things that lead into that. As far as the sex part goes, being a man, obviously we only have one side of this. Men use sex and view sex differently than women. I just read a whole fucking article on this, watched something on Facebook. But somebody said that men use sex as a way to show their closeness. They need sex to not only validate how close they are with their partner, but also prove to their partner, because that's drilled in our minds by nature, to show how close we are with someone through sex. It's harder for men to show feelings and show that they care unless they're buying you shit or giving you dick. That's literally the only ways that you can do it. I mean, we can talk about our feelings, but our feelings aren't always reciprocated. So that's why men shut the fuck up 90% of the time. It's really hard. That's the hard truth. So through sex, we get the validation and we give the validation. The problem is we're getting the validation, but what we're giving isn't quite received by women all the time. They think that they think men just want the nut. They just want a nut. That's all they want. Yes, there are some times where I wake up and I'm like, I'd really like to just get a nut. You know, and I don't want to validate or prove anything. I just really want to get a nut. But there are times too where you have moments of closeness where you're seeing where my initial go-to by nature is sex instead of like cuddling or hugging or holding hands. My first go-to is let's fucking, you know, lay some limbs to the heaven and have some good times because that's how I want to show my closeness. But that doesn't always get received. It gets turned into and misconstrued as a sex addict or he's a perv or something like that.
Yeah.
But I think to a degree, translating this to your swingers thing is I think some people want different things. And some people have enough in one person. And some people, I don't know, they just like the openness and they need that. Like, I don't necessarily think it's a sex addict thing, so I'll play devil's advocate on that.
Yeah, maybe that might have been a little...
No,
that might have been a little too off the target.
I'm not saying that's not true, Eric.
Might be being a little too harsh to men.
It might be a reach for the majority. You know what I mean? But you got to look at it too as sexually when men and women mature. So women peak a lot later in life sexually than men. Yeah, that's true too. You can look that up. Or they go through double peaks. They peak in their 20s and then they peak late 30s into their 40s and stuff. Men, I don't really know if men sexually peak. I know your boners get hard to get after a certain age and it gets hard to, you know, finish or perform. I'm not really there yet. I got boners to spare, man. I just... But without getting too much into it, I've only, I think one person, but he wasn't a swinger. He was, an open marriage. Which I did talk about with him. But the difference is they were like 22, 23. They were real fucking young. So I'd love to get back in contact with him just for the sake of an argument and be like, hey, are you and your wife still open? Because he's got to be 27, 28. He's got to be knocking on 30's door, I think. What's the house? 27. No, maybe he's 26, 27. But anyway, I'd like to just see if that's still going on, if he's still married, honestly.
I take back my Neanderthal comment from earlier. That was a lot more insight than I thought I'd get out of you.
I keep going. Because I thought about this. That's just, and I don't, I screwed it up by saying married me has a different opinion. I have the same opinion. To me, gut check, first glance, it's weird. It is weird. But I'm not going to shit on them. For some people say, I mean, if you talk to people, they're always like, oh, it brought us closer. We were on the edge of divorce. You know, I don't understand how you have kids. I do know one. One guy, he was an old boss.
The people that were talking on the radio, they had kids. And so that kind of made it even weirder. Like,
it is, but people keep that shit away from the kids. I don't think.
But that would always... Shit.
But the kids are gonna grow up. They're gonna know. Like, hey, remember that weird time when I had that weird aunt and uncle that used to come over on Saturday nights, and I'd go to so and so's house, and you know, and come back in the house would smell like candles and lube. Like, they're gonna fucking figure that out over time. But because I would like to know the statistics on it.
That's a weird thing. Is like, can you? Because it's like a community. Swingers are like a community, and it's like, dude, are you gonna take the risk having those?
Careful.
I don't want to label them all.
Yeah, careful, because you're trying to make a weird connection, and I don't necessarily think there's a weird connection.
I'm trying to make a comment on the risk of having people engage in that lifestyle in your house, or maybe around your kids and whatnot.
But the problem is we don't know.
You can't really say that because they're not all bad.
No, well that's the thing. You don't know who does it.
Every population has a distribution.
Because there are people that let you know and are open and talk about it. There's people that you would never know because they don't talk about it. They could be your best fucking friend. They could be family. They could be people that you see every day, but they're not going to talk about it because that's what there's. You're only seeing the people that want you to know they do it, which is it's kind of cool. it doesn't affect me. It doesn't hurt me. Unless I get asked or something, but...
Are you a swinger?
Me? No. No, I'm not. Are you kidding me? It's enough in my life to disappoint one woman. Why would I want to disappoint multiple women? That's just the way it goes on a daily basis.
Oh, shit.
I don't have time. Where would I... I'm trying to imagine it. So my big thing is I would not share my wife. I couldn't. Like, everybody would be into it, and then, like, you know, something would touch something, and I would just turn into the Hulk and start smashing shit, because that's my Neanderthal. My woman, you know, like, I wouldn't be able to
Yeah, I don't...
watch my wife get
couldn't.
killed.
Yeah, I couldn't do that. If I was that emotionally invested in somebody, I couldn't do that. I couldn't do that.
That's what I mean.
Because I value that as, like I said, that's... I value that as, like,
Something
the most intimate, connected thing you can do
Yes.
with somebody. And I've heard people before, like, people who have been banging model tier women, thousands of them, for a long time, straight up tell me that, yeah, there's a difference. Just doing that versus being with somebody you love. There's a difference. Somebody you love and care about that cares about you. Like, sex is different. It's more enjoyable.
Well, then what's the point of swinging then? Because if you're willing to share that, and that is a connection with your spouse, you're having that same connection with somebody else. Or else, why wouldn't you just have that connection with just your spouse? I agree with you. I think, yeah. I don't know. Maybe I don't get it. Maybe I don't understand it as much as I thought I did until after we talked about this.
That's it. Yeah. Who I was thinking of was, you remember Dan Bilzerian?
Yeah.
He said that at one point. That guy's laid more pipe than the guys in fucking Nebraska, you know. He was one of the ones that said at one point, he was like, you know, there is a difference when you're just banging some random girl you picked up in Vegas or whatnot versus being in a relationship, committed, you know.
Yeah.
I care about her, she cares about me. He's like, it's different.
I don't know
There's
how
a
that
difference.
Guy has any loads.
And I'm like,
left.
okay, if he's saying there's a difference, then it means something. Like,
because
he
really does have a girlfriend.
Really does mean something. I'm not saying my views are based on what he said, but it was kind of like a cool thing for him to say that. It's like, okay, this is a guy that's, you know,
but is
been
he
with thousands of women.
Committed relationship and still doing that?
Oh, I know, this was years ago.
Oh, okay.
This was years ago when I heard that.
Because he had women approaching him. Mm-hmm. Because he made some of their careers, like on Instagram and stuff, and just social media in general. Mm-hmm. So he got to the point where it was like a self-sustaining business. Like, he didn't have to go out and do anything. He just knew girls that knew other girls that, yeah. Mm-hmm. That's what I mean. I think when I think of Dan Bilzerian, I think of Rob Lowe's character in Californication when he's like, I don't get hard anymore. I don't have any loads. I ran out of loads. Remember that guy? Played that.
Oh yeah, Rob Lowe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember his character.
That's who I think Dan Bilzerian is.
Dude.
Yeah, it's just
that
what
show's great.
I ran out of loads.
He's the part where I took a man in my mouth. And then he finds out later it's
Banksy.
Banksy that was, you know, married to Karen. I'm like, what the fuck?
This is the man I took in my mouth.
I love the part where they're driving down the street looking for Banksy and he's running down the street naked.
Dude.
And he's like, hey guys, what's up? And they're like, get in here. And he just gets in the cab and they're just fucking driving around with
he's
naked in the backseat.
That, I don't think there was a greater show that got me through so many dark parts of my life. Yeah. David Duchovny can do no wrong in my eyes.
The part with you know, his agent Charlie
Runkle.
Yeah, Charlie Runkle. The whole thing with his wife was played by Pamela Adlon.
Marcy.
Yeah. Marcy. Yeah. The whole thing with Charlie and Marcy, where they were like getting divorced and getting back together and all that shit. That shit fucking just tore me up.
Yeah, that was rough, especially when
it was really rough.
She was doing the rape fantasy and he comes in and tried to attack the big guy.
Yeah. That was hard to watch. I'm a huge fan of hers because she did the voice of Bobby Hill.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just,
Yeah, but Californication got me through. Dude, I've probably watched that 10, 11 times.
I love the part where Hank walks into the country club. He's always wearing the same black t-shirt and jeans. He walks into the country club and the guy's like, sir, no denim allowed. And he goes, fuck you, it's the people's cloth. It's just great.
He played the perfect tortured writer.
Great.
Who, I don't know, he was cursed with, he was Dan Bilzerian. Like, women would throw themselves.
Oh, yeah.
When the season where he was the college professor and he was
Yeah.
banging his TA, a student, and somebody
They
else.
were all trying to kill him.
Yeah.
He'd be with some vicious women that were just trying to take him
First
down.
of all, if you watch that show and there's a dinner party
psychopaths.
scene,
Huh?
if you watch that show and there's a dinner party scene, turn off everything else. Put your fucking phone down. Close the blinds. Focus on the TV. Because the cinematic gold that comes from every dinner scene is just... And one of my favorites is when Marcy married Stu. Big Dick Stu. And was it Hank brought...
He was like the producer or some shit?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I remember now.
Yeah. And Runkle was there, Marcy was there, Karen was there, and whoever David Duchovny, Hank was banging at that point was there. And it was fucking gold. Oh, no. Yeah, that's when Karen was dating the black guy. The light-skinned dude that their daughters went to school together with. And he was making every joke in the book to try
was he
and
the one
provoke
that
this guy
he
to
said?
hit him.
He said, yeah, because Hank walks up to him and he says something to Hank of like, "Is that alcohol I smell on your breath?" And he goes, "Do I give you shit about the dick I smell on your breath?"
Yes.
I remember that guy.
That one, and he did everything to try and get this guy to hate him and to like swing on him. But the guy, he was so likable. Like he was like, "I don't want to like you, man." And then it was that, and then it was when my favorite scene of all time was when they were friends with the rock star, and Karen and him went to that party, and they were gonna fool around in one of the rooms upstairs, and he was like, "Oh, I need a rubber," so he goes and he leaves the room, and Karen's naked in the room ready for him, and he goes and he gets the rock star guy, he gets a condom from him, and then he goes back, and the guy has such a big massive house that all the rooms look the same, so he came up to the top of the stairs and went one room to the left on the wrong side, or on the right side, and went in and started going down on this chick, and it was actually the rock star's girlfriend. And he comes in.
I don't remember that part.
He's like, "Shoot, he mouth raped me." And he's like, whoa, don't be saying that shit. And Karen's like, "What did you..." He's like, "Karen, baby, I thought it was you." Because it was when they were back together. So then they get in the car, and they start driving, and he's shirtless. And he just had the vasectomy. That's what it was. So that's why she was going to make him wear a rubber. And they get pulled over in his Porsche. And he goes... the cop comes up and goes, "Have you been drinking?" And he goes, "Surprisingly, no." And Karen goes, "No, he just did a little coke." And he goes, "What the fuck, Karen?" One of my favorite scenes of all time in any show. What the fuck, Karen? It was great. Absolutely. If those of you that are listening, watching, if you have not ever watched Californication or heard of it, it's got to be my number one.
Yeah,
I don't even know if it's still on Netflix, but I binge watched it twice through the
I've seen it a few times.
coronavirus shutdown. It's gotten me through college, some dark fucking times.
You appreciate like witty dialogue, and
It's very witty.
That's the thing. Is like you're either gonna love it or hate it because there's tits in every episode. The show literally starts off with him at that beach house going down on that girl.
Yes.
And then her boyfriend comes home.
Yes.
What was the other part of it?
It's Showtime. I think it was a Showtime show too, so that's why there's a lot of nudity. It's not like
there's a lot.
you don't. I don't think there's a lot of dicks. It's not like season 1 Game of Thrones, but there's a lot of naked women.
Yeah. Shit. I had another
But the
funny
story's
scene from
great.
it. Yeah, it'll tug at you.
Well, I don't know if you
Tug
want
at
to
you.
circle back. Did we fulfill your swingers?
Yeah, I just thought it'd be an interesting topic to talk about.
I mean, we could go on and on.
Nah.
I don't even know. I tried to relate that back. And of
No,
course,
I have my thoughts about it and whatnot. And like I said, I really do think like when people try to justify it and whatnot, it's like I'm dealing with flat earthers.
well, so there's
You either love it or
swingers,
hate it. Either
and then there's open marriages.
I think it has to do with the difference in values.
Polygamy?
Just
Polygamists.
what do you
Polygamists.
value? And
I don't know. And then what about threesomes? Because is that technically a form of
personally,
swimming?
like
Swinging. Fuck, I think I did stroke.
are threesomes a form of swinging?
Are they? Because I mean, I guess it would have to depend on if you're doing FFM or MMF. Really, right?
Yeah,
Because there are people, there are married couples that constantly invite another female. I would assume
I
that's some
don't know
type
how
of
I
swinging.
feel about that. Well, I always said if it was a three, like I'm never crossing swords with another guy. I just wouldn't do it. Just
Fair.
wouldn't like. Yeah, it would just completely destroy everything.
Disclaimer: I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that Eric and I have never been a part of a threesome.
No, I haven't.
Okay.
But I always said like, yeah, I'd be open to it if it was two women.
That's where it gets you because
But
everyone who has those values of it's weird and I want to stay away from it. When you start factoring in another woman, when you start factoring in the fact that you don't have to watch your significant other get railed out, is it plausible?
that's a plus. But you also have to look at like if I was married, I don't think even if it was another woman, like I don't think I could do it then either. And also like, what about my spouse? Are they okay with me railing another woman?
That's
Do they have the same thought? Do they have the same feelings about it that I do if there was another guy involved?
Because it's easier for women to participate in a sexual act with each other than it is for men. Because if you, let's say it's
I would agree with
two
that.
dudes, the two dudes probably aren't going to interact at all. They're probably not even going to make eye contact. But women,
5 minutes, no eye contact, no kissing.
yeah. And then you got to worry about certain overspray and all kinds of weird shit like that. But with women,
Collateral damage.
yeah, friendly fire.
Friendly fire. Friendly fucking.
But
Getting friendly fucked.
getting friendly jizzed, everyone becomes a squirter at that point. But some real moisty mountains in that. But women can interact and and do stuff, and it's more acceptable. Yes,
I agree with what you said
Weird,
about. I think
'cause it's
I
out
think
of
women in general are more open to doing that with each other than men are.
yeah,
Like you're not gonna well.
I
don't know.
couldn't watch.
You're not gonna get two straight guys to start doing stuff with each other.
I don't like what your hand's doing.
Shut up.
I don't like the rubbing
Doing
noise.
stuff with each other. But then again, two straight women start doing stuff with each other. Are they really straight?
You're starting to bring the.
Yeah, we're
if
getting-
a tree falls in the
we're getting-
woods,
we're getting
no
really-
one's around to hear it. Does it fucking make a sound?
We're getting real.
Philosophical.
God damn it! I cannot fucking talk.
It's because we started talking about threesomes.
Getting real technical with it, and I don't think we need to get that far into the weeds.
I
That far into the bush.
I
but-
wouldn't be able to watch my significant other getting handled, and I wouldn't expect her to watch me getting handled. Disclaimer.
Yeah.
This is just purely
I agree.
food for thought.
I
Dick for thought, if you will.
like if I was in a committed relationship or married or such, like I still wouldn't feel good about. I still wouldn't feel good about the prospect of having having a three-way with another woman.
It'd be weird.
It would be weird, and I feel like I would be playing with fire.
It would definitely burn.
Because I think a lot of people, well, I don't know. Would you feel better about your woman leaving you for another guy, or leaving you for a woman?
A woman. Wait, would I feel better?
Yeah, would you feel...
I would feel better for her leaving me for a woman, yes. Knowing that I may or may not be the last wiener that she's been with. That's okay to me.
I think I would feel better about her leaving me for another guy.
Really?
Yes. I feel like if my woman turned lesbian and left me for another woman...
It would be something that you did.
I feel like that's a degree farther. If I had to try to quantify the situation, I feel like that's a degree farther.
See,
I feel
I'm okay
like there's
with that.
I feel like there's more element of logic.
Because I feel like if I was the last male that she was ever with, I did my due diligence to send her off with a good one. It's not like I gave like trashy dick that made her be like, oh, I like women now. So I would be okay with that. I feel like most guys would be like, oh no, that reflects horrible on me. Yeah, it could. I'm not saying it doesn't, but her leaving you for another dude, just that hurts. Like, especially like being in it, being like married. Like if you're dating for 6 months or dating for a certain amount of time. Yeah,
I'm
it's
having second
hurt.
thoughts now. I think my logic was a little fucked up.
Because it would hurt. Because odds are she's more times than not she leaves a guy for another guy.
Yeah, if she left me for another woman, it wouldn't really fall on me. It really wouldn't.
Some people would think it would, but I wouldn't take it as it fell on me. It was something in her, deep down inside. Maybe every other dude she was with wasn't fulfilling enough. Because she likes women. You know what I mean? That's not going to hurt me. That's her.
Yeah, I think you're right. I'm going to revise my answer.
That's fine. I wasn't trying to convince you. I was just trying to...
No, I think my logic was just kind of fucked up there. Like, it seemed logical. It seemed more logical for me for another dude than a woman. I don't know. It depends I think it depends on how you categorize why.
Why would be a big thing, yes.
Yeah. I don't know.
Because I feel like there's a deeper meaning in her leaving you for another woman than her leaving you for another dude. Because every day people leave dudes for another dude. It could hold true that women leave men for another woman every day too, but I feel like it's just less common. But it's not gonna be like a pride thing. A little bit it would be a pride thing. Anybody who's had a woman leave them for another man, it's a pride. It hurts your pride. If she leaves you for a woman,
yeah, I think that's how
you can't really compete with a woman.
That's how I was thinking about it. Was if she left me for a woman, then it was I fucked up royally.
Yeah,
fucked up harder than.
And that's what most people would think about it.
Yeah, so I guess I was a little backwards there.
But if she left you for a dude, you can compete with a dude. Genetically, you can compete with that dude. He might have things you don't, like money and a better smile, but
can you compete with her standards?
That's the thing. You can compete with him on a genetic level. You can't compete with a woman unless you had like surgery done or something and became a woman.
No, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. There's nothing you can do about that. It's written in the stars that she likes women. Sorry, she likes women. If she leaves you for a dude, she still likes dudes. She just didn't like you. That hurts.
Yeah, I can see that.
Deep down to my core. Good question, though. That's a good conversation.
I'm not sure if that was the one I was trying to think of earlier or not. That's the fucked up thing.
Oh, I mean,
remember before we started
30 minutes out of it. That's pretty dope.
Before we started, I said there was something that I was thinking about. That would have been a good topic. I don't know if that was it or not.
You wrote swingers down on the list like a week ago, and I never.
Yeah, I just thought it'd be an interesting topic to bring up.
Yeah, that's like a 45-minute one. I didn't want to like touch on it. I think I had another retraction, didn't I? I don't know. I mean, I say dumb shit all the time.
Probably a ton of them. We just don't remember.
Yeah, I thought of it yesterday after we did. Oh God.
Well, like we were talking about the availability of vehicles and shit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That was one of them, kind of. But
I might have been completely wrong about that. I don't know. That was something we talked about like
It's
way back in
fixing
like episode
itself.
2 or some shit.
the problem is, we're at a time now where not all 2023s are being released yet.
Mm-hmm.
So, like you can still go to dealerships. Like the best one is there's the place I was looking at, the Nissan dealership. I was looking at the Frontiers.
Yeah, it's what we talked about last time.
There's a 2022 Frontier with like 6 miles on it that's being sold as new. But the 2023's got there 3 weeks ago. You know, excuse me. Not just a regular long bed, but dope truck. Not what I'm really looking for. But
I think that's the one I would go for. The Frontier.
the SV long bed. No, you'd want a Pro 4X.
I don't know. I've gone back and forth about that.
You would want
About
a Pro
having
4X.
just like the what do they call it, the king cab with the long bed. Yeah, it'd be useful. But having the crew cab.
There's a crew cab with a long
Crew
bed.
cab, 4-wheel drive. Not necessarily. I put too much emphasis on the long bed. Whatever.
You don't need it because you're pulling.
Yeah, exactly.
You're still pulling 6,600 pounds or something.
Yeah. I would prioritize 4-wheel drive and being able to tow. The towing
Yeah.
capacity. The
Well,
bed's
just
not-
having a
the bed's
bed-
not so important.
Just having a bed.
Because I was
in
thinking
general.
about when you guys were putting, Mitch got that quad and you guys were putting it in the back and whatnot. It was like, that'd
It
be
fit.
That'd be kind of useful.
Which was weird because so he got a full size 500, right? So that brand CF Moto, if you get into like the bigger ones, like the Touring or the XC of the 6 and 800, the chassis does get a little longer, so we might not have been able to get away with it. But the beauty of his bed was the wheel wells were damn near flush. So we literally and the width was perfect. You just drove it in, it touched. The ass end, the wheel was on the tailgate a little bit, but those tailgates, new style tailgates on trucks, can hold like a quarter of the payload. It's pretty dope. And then we just threw some straps and it fucking hauled it. Like his trucks that he's had in the past are pretty impressive for being unibody design, so not body on frame.
Yeah.
Pretty fucking solid. I pulled our dad's trailer with his old truck loaded up, and it didn't sway, it didn't fucking feel like it was pulling anything. It drove just like a car. The problem is, the price point on his truck, I'm not trying to reach. It's up there a little bit.
Oh yeah, everything's elevated like hell.
It's starting to come down.
Used are starting to come down. I think because the new supply is starting to pick up.
Because the 2023s, that's what happens.
I still think a lot of it's on the dealers and whatnot.
My dilemma is
It's not just
full size
supply.
versus mid size.
You gotta think, like during the pandemic, who the fuck had money to go out and get a new car? Who was buying?
If you looked at some of the statistics, I think you'd be a little surprised.
Really?
Yeah. Because you
Oh,
gotta
maybe I was
think.
just fucking dead wrong about it, but
I don't know. That's the thing. But if you're looking at several months after the pandemic, all of the online booming that happened with TikTok and the social media's OnlyFans paying out, you had a lot of people that went and the first thing they did was buy new fucking vehicles because they were making that capital with doing relatively no work.
yeah, but are they buying the same vehicles that you and I are buying?
Probably not if they're on OnlyFans.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter
Buying
because
fucking Land
statistically,
Rovers and
it's,
Mercedes
well,
and
maybe
shit like that.
you don't know. I mean, you have fucking
Raptors and shit. And
You have
I'm not looking for a fucking Raptor.
no. But you have some famous people that drive humble vehicles though. Not everybody drives an Aston Martin or a fucking McLaren.
I'm not a big car guy.
Well,
I never have been.
I've just
You
been,
got all these people that have their like
I pay attention to trucks
Camaros
now
and
because
their classic
obviously I'm
cars and shit.
looking for a truck. I gotta get rid of.
I always looked
fucking
at
tiny vehicle I have.
I've always looked at cars as tools. That's why I bought the Civic.
Yeah, but you who's trying to do like more outdoor stuff, a Civic hatchback is not the best vehicle.
Yeah, you'd be surprised.
No, I'm not. Don't. You're not gonna sell a 2-wheel drive fucking Civic on me. Yeah, I like the VTECs and what they do with them.
I mean, it's fine for loading up with hiking and camping gear and shit with a couple of your friends and fucking taking off. It's
Out
fine
west,
like that.
Yeah, but until you
Out
hit
west.
snow.
Fuck no, I'm talking about Appalachian.
Yeah, during the summer.
Oh yeah, in the winter the fucking thing sucks.
Yeah. So you need like.
But it's a little fucking front wheel drive
And
car.
what's weird is so the tech that is in the
Not very
Nissan
heavy.
Frontiers is the same tech that's in Honda's. Honda doesn't have a full-size truck, but if you looked at the tech that comes in the Nissan Titans, so the full-size Nissan, the step up from the Frontiers, it's almost the same exact tech that's in the Ridgelines, the Pilots, the CRV, HRVs. It's kind of cool. So I almost look at it, and I don't know who Nissan owns or is owned by. I think they have an affiliation with Toyota, but Toyota uses the same tech package company that puts their shit as Honda. So I think it's all kind of synonymous. Different, way different from Hyundai, which is what I drive now. Not bad. No, they're both good, but yeah, I don't know. My dilemma is mid-size versus full-size.
I started looking at trailers too.
Why?
I was curious what they cost.
Like a covered? There's
No, I was looking at the ones that are like dads, but they're longer and they got a side gate too.
the double axle or single axle.
Both.
Double axle like a 16-footer, yeah.
Yeah, it depends how big they are.
Well, that's typically.
But yeah, I was looking at those to see like if I wanted a trailer that had like a quad and a razor on it. Like, well, what am I looking at? So I just went hunting.
What you could pull?
No, a trailer that could fit both of those.
yeah.
Yeah, I was looking at trailers too.
Well, yeah, I mean, you want to make sure you have a truck that can pull that stuff,
Yeah.
first off.
I think the
Side by side in a quad, what are you looking? Probably under 5,000 pounds. So, any of your mid-size, really, I would steer away from the Maverick. But then again, who would buy that anyway?
they're having trouble with the Lightning. Been a lot of
Lightning.
the F-150 Lightning.
Oh, I don't.
Apparently, it's shit when it comes to pulling.
Well, so they do this thing. Chevy, Ford. I don't think Dodge has done it yet, but Chevy and Ford specifically, they put the 2.7 4-cylinder, slap a turbo on it, and then they say it can pull 9,000. And I had to be careful because one of the trucks I was looking at was a Silverado that had a 2.7 turbo. Had low mileage, but I started asking around a lot of mechanic people and people that worked for dealerships and had more hands-on experience, especially with the more recent. 'Cause I think it was a 2020.
You know the Lightning's their electric truck, right?
No, I didn't. But the 2.7 turbo, it turns out it's a 3-stage lifter system. Dog shit. Because you have that much movement within the cam. No. Tell me more about the Lightning.
So, I don't know much about it, but I've been... The big question was how it was going to perform, especially with towing. And I guess it didn't do so good.
Because of overheating, right?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
I'd have to look back at it. I see this was like a couple months ago. Was when I think it was when they released it. But it's like firearms. When they release a new vehicle, every YouTuber and reviews cars and shit like that. So I was just reading headlines and shit, and it sounded like it was not doing.
Because that's why they haven't put out the Rivian yet, right?
And also, you only get like 200 miles out of the fucking thing.
Oof.
Yeah, it's really like they're not progressing with the range of
With
these
being able to
vehicles. And that's not just Ford, that's everybody. They're not progressing with the range like I thought they would be. I don't know what Tesla's up to, but I know
I heard they're running into trouble.
I know as
with the
far as
Rivian.
like Ford's vehicles, they're not all that. You don't get much range out of them. So,
But they haven't released them yet?
and
or they
there's
have?
not chargers on every fucking corner like there's a gas station. So,
That's a... Yeah, I've seen that in the Teslas where it pops up and it shows you wherever you go where there's a charging station. How's that work? Do you pay to charge that? I
I
don't
think
know
you
any
do.
Tesla owners.
I think you do.
That's what I
It's
mean.
not free.
When you show, that's what I mean. Like when you show up and you plug that in, is it? First of all, it's a supercharge, so it charges in like supercharge meaning it charges fast, not supercharges in charging the top end of your vehicle, your engine. Is it? Like how much? Like that's what I want to know. Like, how much does it cost us to fill up your car to charge it super fast? Because it happens in minutes, right? Mm-hmm. And then if you have it in home, like when you buy a Tesla, do you get the charging setup to install it in your garage, or do you have to buy it separate?
I haven't really looked. I haven't looked into Teslas too much because I was like, well, it's
who's
gonna be 10 years before I even fucking get
who's
around to
gonna
buying
make
one
the
of
first
these.
one that you can just plug in with a shitty ass dollar store extension cord and power that way? That way you don't have. Because these people are getting like 210s installed in their garage, I believe.
I don't think you have to do that though. I think you can try. I think you can charge it off a 120. It just takes like 8 fucking hours or something.
Oh, so these people are probably just getting the booster pack or something installed in their garage.
I don't know.
Wall and then plugging. I don't know.
I always thought there was. I could be wrong, but I always thought there was like you could just plug it in at home.
I don't have a desire. I don't have a desire to get an electric vehicle.
That's what I'm saying. I haven't looked much into them. Just like on the periphery, like seeing headlines of.
In fact, I need to do more research because everything I'm seeing, people are saying that it's causing more damage to make these and sustain these.
Yeah.
Whether or not that's true, I don't know.
Well, one of the big things with the Teslas was the battery's taking a shit, and it's like to get them replaced was like $30,000, and people are like, "What the fuck?"
It's half the cost of the vehicle.
It's not there yet. That's why all this legislation and shit trying to force everybody to switch over and stuff like that is just
California
been,
trying to go, yeah.
Way too premature and way too heavy-handed because it. One thing people don't realize is, okay, these are electric vehicles. They run on electricity. What makes that electricity?
God.
It's like 70% of it is still like coal and natural gas and shit.
That's what I was asking.
And it's like,
that's why I said, is this doing more damage? In the long run.
As far as the waste and shit, maybe.
The grand scheme of things.
As far as like the pollution and the cost, I don't know. It's probably not doing any more. I don't know. I just don't know.
I don't know if that's would be worse. It not helping or it doing more. Because the whole point of this is to help.
Well, the other thing is if we... I can't say that for certain. I was going to say, if we start, everybody switches over to electric vehicles already, like the grid, there's going to be more load on the grid. And do we have the infrastructure in place to back that up? And if we're still using coal and oil to generate our fucking electricity, it's like we're going to end up using more of that anyway.
Now, I will say...
Unless there's more dams or we start tapping into tidal energy. Wind is good, but wind is not as robust as everybody thought.
And the material
all
that
the
takes
shit
to
that
make
happened.
the machinery to take in to do wind, we can't dispose of, so we just bury out in the fucking
I remember seeing something saying that like a wind turbine is actually like a net... it's like a net negative when it comes to... they're trying to be carbon net zero or some shit.
Yeah.
It's actually... You never make up the difference because of all the carbon that was expelled to make the goddamn thing or some shit. But anyway, like what we saw in Texas was it last year when they got, that winter storm, froze up all their turbines and shit.
Yeah.
One of the big ones I want to see is these stations that they have on the coast. They have a long arm that reach out into the ocean. And it's basically just got like a float on it, and and the wave runs the arm up and down, and that's basically a electric generator.
Yeah.
I've been waiting for those to fucking take off. I mean, we got thousands of miles of coastline and shit.
Yeah.
So where's that?
The one thing I did hear about the Teslas,
So they're telling everybody we need to go green and whatnot, and I don't think they're
in the colder temperatures, like people that have them in Minnesota.
batteries don't deal with cold.
No,
very well.
And their little ticky tack, like how their fucking handles pop out, allow you to open it.
Yeah.
All that shit freezes up, and when it freezes up, it burns up because they're little electric motors. So people are constantly trading them in and get the fuck away from them. You can't really I don't know if they're gonna do like a block heater on a DC battery or if that's like a thing. But people weren't happy with it.
It would be really cool to have like your own personal solar grid and whatnot, and be like, yeah, it charges my car. And
Yeah.
that'd be fucking sweet.
Yeah.
But, I think that's something I'm gonna do in the spring. I asked Dad if you start prototyping like a solar grid in the backyard. He's like, yeah, I don't care. I want to get it to where it can run my computer.
It's the greatest answer from Dad.
Well, him being an electrical technician, he's down for shit like that.
Yeah.
He's not gonna. I mean, even like the plasma CNC and stuff like that. He's down for it. He'll help me out with it. He just doesn't want me wreaking havoc on the house. But like a solar grid, you can get these kits, like 8, 10 panels or whatever. Set it up. Get really freaky with it and do
Thing is, you got to store that though, right? You have
Mount
to
'em on
store the charge.
Yeah, you gotta have your battery bank. The batteries actually might be more expensive than the panels.
That's what I would assume.
You can get. I did a little bit of research, and one of your cost savings, marine batteries. Marine batteries are really good for setting up a solar grid.
Don't last as long,
because
though,
they're
right?
deep cycle, and
Are you gonna store them inside or outside?
I'll probably store them. Well,
That's the catch-22. You store them inside, huge fire hazard. Store
Yes.
them outside,
Yeah.
you're gonna severely shorten the life of the batteries.
Yeah.
Because the plates are gonna,
yeah.
So that's the one thing you have to change out batteries so often. So you have to keep testing them and make sure they're
Yeah.
topped off.
But I could build like a little shack outside.
Yeah.
Insulate it really well. Put a heater in there. That's solar powered. Or you get really freaky with it and you mount them on servo motors, and then you program them to follow the sun.
Oh my god.
That's actually a really simple. It's a really simple equation based on longitude, latitude, time of year, and all that.
You can try and mount them on the roof.
I don't know. I don't think so. Not yet. If we build a grid big enough that it's like we're actually powering the house off this fucker, sure.
Did you look at any of the
I was
government
thinking
benefits for applying for those? They'll pay for some of them.
You get rebates or tax credits or something. But it's like I did the math at one point, and for a home our size, it came out to be like I'd have to spend like $11,000 up front to get it, and then I would get like a 25% tax credit or something. So it's still $11,000 versus me tinkering with something in the backyard that maybe cost me $1,200.
Yeah. I mean,
But
you could
like
always,
I said, my goal
you could
is
always grow it too.
I want to get my computer. I want to get it to run my computer. If I can do that, just have cables coming in through the window and shit.
Looks like Tony Stark's fucking office.
Yeah. I forget what I was gonna say, but yeah, I think it was like $11,000 up front to get Tesla's solar panels. I was thinking about mounting them on the fence on the back at some kind of angle, so it'll mostly catch the sun traversing during the height of summer, and then
Burying the cable down the yard.
I mean, I could probably make brackets that would, tilt them this way or this way, both. Have those programmed to follow it throughout the year. Mounting it to the roof though that might get a little dicey though. You don't want to tear up the roof. You don't have to. And if something gets fucked up or they get destroyed by hail or whatever, then you got to replace them.
Yeah.
And if I mean, they're gonna get destroyed by hail if they're on the fence too. But I don't know. That'd be a fun project, I think.
We're at 109. So Eric,
Yeah, I
can you
figured
tell
we were
people
a
where to
little over.
find us?
You can find us at Spotify, Amazon Music, Deezer, Ghana. Video will be uploaded to YouTube at Harm's Way Podcast. You can find us on TikTok at HarmsWay8993. There's going to be more clips coming in the near future. I think I told you, 2 episodes, and I already got 12, so
Hopefully you give me some this week.
there's going to
yeah.
be some gems from this one.
I think so too.
Yeah. Do you want me to just, when I get to 20, I'll turn them over to you?
Yeah, that's
We'll
fine.
do that.
That's
We'll
2
do it.
days worth because I
Yeah.
get 10 a day.
We'll do it more frequently. That at least spreads it out over a few weeks. Also, you can find us on Instagram at Harm's Way Podcast. Again, more clips coming. I had fun.
Good show today. Any closing arguments, counselor?
The defense rests. Fry him. All right.
That's all we got. Give us a shout, like, comment, try us, download, subscribe, whatever you want to fucking try us, or whatever you want to call it. Give us a listen. Tell us how you feel. Tell us how you like us. Because we like you.
You can't hate me any more than I do.
Or our father. I'm just kidding. Love you, Dad. Till next time, fuckers. Peace.
Bye.